Oshkosh Media is government programming on GovTV, community programming on Life TV, and community radio on Oshkosh FM 101.9.
Welcome to the City Manager's Report, a look at city updates and a preview of the next Oshkosh Common Council meeting agenda.
Thanks for joining us for this edition of the City Manager's Report. I'm Andy Raddick, and in a moment we'll be joined by City Manager Mark Roloff. As usual, in the first half of today's show, we'll have some municipal news updates, including information from city departments and news that residents can use. In the second half, we'll highlight items from the upcoming Tuesday, February 27th Oshkosh Common Council meeting agenda. And with that, we bring in our City Manager, Mark Roloff. Mark, thanks for being here today and joining us.
Great to be here, Andy.
All right. Well, we have a lot to go through, and one item that has just come up very recently isn't anything that necessarily the city is working on, but it's a Wisconsin Department of Transportation project, and that is some maintenance that's planned for the Main Street Bridge.
Yeah, and it's some pretty major maintenance. I'm surprised even that the DOT that's doing this project is referring to it as maintenance, but they're developing plans for proposed improvements to the Main Street Bridge, and that's going to include things like rehabilitation of existing electrical, mechanical, hydraulic, and structural components of the lift span. So that's a lot of work. That's kind of the importance of that bridge.
Right.
There's also going to be some minor repairs to the operator's house and those access platform that the operator's house needs, and then removal and overlay of the approach span concrete decks on both sides, and then the removal and replacement of the steel grid deck that's right there on the lift span itself. So that's a lot of work that's going to be done. So
Right.
They are going to be working on the final design throughout 2024, with construction scheduled for the fall of 25 through spring 26. So it's a little early to start making your alternate route plans, but it's going to be, in a year and a half, that bridge is going to be out for, 4 or 5 months perhaps. So I think it's important for us to get that word out and get it out often, because fall of 2025 will come a lot quicker than anybody thinks.
It'll come very fast, right? And I know that the Wisconsin Department of Transportation is planning on having a live online public involvement meeting, and that will give the folks that are joining the meeting more information about the whole project. That's taking place on Thursday, February 29th at 5 p.m. Again, that is an online meeting. To get a link to where that's located, go to the city's website, and in the Hot Topics section, there's a link to the DOT page right there, and there's a spot where you can register to join that meeting. So more information is there. But that's right, Mark, it's a big project, and we'll be keeping an eye on it as it progresses.
Yeah, we need to keep an eye on it, but it is a DOT project, and to the degree we get feedback, we hear things, because we will. People will say, "City, why aren't you doing this or that with that project?" And we'll feed that information to the DOT so they're aware, because this is going to have an impact on Oshkosh traffic, and residents need to know about that. So we're going to do everything we can to keep people in the loop.
Sure. Okay. Well, then also we've been talking about this next topic a little bit as we've gone along here. The city is soliciting proposals for American Rescue Plan Act, otherwise known as APRA funding, and we had some public information sessions. We had a Facebook Live session, and we just wanted to remind folks that this funding is available and that the application window is currently open.
Yeah, it's open until Friday, March 1st, so there's another week left for people to submit applications for ARPA funding. But just a little brief overview so everybody still knows. The city received about $20.5 million in American Rescue Plan Act funds, and the council, after some discussion, decided that 75% of it would be devoted to infrastructure purposes. So city staff, through our capital improvement plan, are doing that. But the other 25%, or about $5.1 million, is allocated for non-infrastructure purposes, primarily nonprofit entities, but it's really about non-infrastructure purposes. So the council has already allocated almost $2.8 million of those funds. So about $2.3 million is left in remaining ARPA funds. So we're soliciting applications, and there's a few little things that, little tips or just things we want to point out. We plan to give preference to projects that can have the funds spent through the end of this year, December 31, 2024. That's not a hard and fast rule. By law, it doesn't have to be spent until the end of 2026, but because we can't reallocate monies after the end of 2024, we want to make sure that we don't have to reallocate and then we don't have the ability to do it. So we want to make any changes that we're going to make before the end of this year. So we're going to be given preference to if you can spend it, but we got a whole bunch of things that we want people to look at. But of course, as I mentioned, the application deadline is Friday, March 1st at the end of business, 4:30. There's information galore on our website that you can take a look at. We have the ARPA funding application and the documents that go along with it, so you can download the application form there. There is one part of the site if you go to, you may not be able to fill it out online. This one, I believe, will enable you to fill out the application online, fill it in and email it to us right from there. And then there's a lot of questions and answers that we've been asked that we wanted to let people know about. And then we had 3 great informational sessions, 2 with the live audience and one that we did here in the studio with questions and answers. All of those are available on Oshkosh Media, so I really appreciate you guys doing a lot to get those things out there.
Sure. Yeah, we've actually been rerunning those on Oshkosh Media Gov TV, and they're also available on the Oshkosh Media YouTube page. So you can watch those whenever is convenient and get more information. We do have a frequently asked questions sheet there, as you mentioned, and there are several specific questions that have come up that are answered there.
And you can still, if you've got any questions or comments, we still have the email address there, arpacomments@oshkoshwi.gov. You can, send us even up to the deadline. If you've got questions, little things you want to know about, happy to answer that. And please pass it along, especially if you are familiar with any nonprofit group in the area. Make sure they're aware of this and they see if this is something that they may want to take advantage of.
Right, and we've had a wide variety of questions on this, on specifics, so please feel free to reach out and ask if you have a specific question, and we'll be happy to find an answer for you. Okay, speaking of successful projects and things, I know that we often talk about our Oshkosh Fire Department and their food and toy drive. And so this is the culmination of what their efforts were this past year in 2023. And it sounds like they were quite successful.
Yeah, we always like the opportunity to thank the community. And this report from the fire department, their employees, really kind of shows it. Firefighters over that period of time collected over 5,100 pounds of food, nearly 2,100 toys, and over $3,600 in cash donations. So the monetary value of the toy donations alone was over $42,000. That's pretty cool. And those donations all directly impacted families in the Oshkosh area. Over 2,000 children were able to enjoy a toy at Christmas time because of the generosity of our community, and that was led by the efforts from our Oshkosh Fire Department. And there's also a scholarship program that identifies a graduating senior from Oshkosh North and West who are enrolled in a public safety program. So we're happy that the fire department employees that run this program have a scholarship as well. And I would say plan on looking for this again come December, but let's have summer first before we start talking about that.
Right. We'll bring that back in a future episode. Okay, well, congratulations to them on all of their work. Another thing that we've been talking about quite a bit, Mark, is our new, very exciting, our new Four Seasons building over at Lakeshore Park. And I know there's been a lot of question about, when will this be available to the public? Well, we have an open house coming up.
Yeah, so if you're interested in perhaps renting it or just going over there when it's not in rental use to just check it out, come and see the new building. It's going to be on Tuesday, March 5th from 5 to 6 p.m. It's gorgeous. The new building's located on the east side of Lakeshore Park at the north end of Pinoqua Street on the shores of Lake Butamore and the Fox River where it comes together. This video obviously came from a little snowier time, but we actually had a couple of events over there in the past couple of weeks for some city events going on. I can tell you it's a wonderful facility and you will like it. The building, as you can see, features a large assembly room, a kitchenette, interior and exterior restrooms, and a wraparound deck area that opens to the assembly room. That wraparound deck area is just incredible. Depending on the time of year, the building is equipped with heating and air conditioning. It was a very cool day when we were there, and it kept us warm. But here's an idea with the kitchenette there. Lots of plug-ins for your Nescos and things like that. So we're real happy about that. The building will be available from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. The rental fee must be paid in full when making a reservation. There's a slightly higher fee for non-residents. The large glass walls, I got to tell you, take advantage of stunning views from this location. So if this is something that grabs you for a family event, party, or anything like that, give the Parks Department a call at 236-5080, and they'll be happy to take your reservation and schedule it for you. But if you want to just get a peek at it, Tuesday, March 5th at 5 p.m., and you can walk the site yourself.
Right. I've actually been able to see it myself. It is spectacular. Those windows, some of those doors actually open up. So on a nice warm day, people can kind of go inside and outside. It's beautiful. So advise folks to take a look at that. All right. Also, over at the Oshkosh Public Museum, they have a new exhibit, and they're celebrating their 100th anniversary this year.
They sure are. So one of the exhibits they're doing this year, I think it's quite appropriate, is 1920s Oshkosh, colorful times in black and white. So, their staff went to their archives, found some incredible photographs from over the years, and you're going to see a lot of familiar places around Oshkosh, some that if you're a little older may harken back some other days, and other things you'll say, where was this? And it's, it might be right where you were standing just the other day. So again, as you said, the exhibition is part of OPM 100, which is a series of exhibitions, programs, and events celebrating 100 years in 2024 of the Oshkosh Public Museum. It opened to the public in 1924, so we're happy to be celebrating the museum's 100th anniversary, and what better way than to take a look back in time.
Right, and they have a lot more events coming up to celebrate this anniversary, so we will be advising everybody about those as they come along, and also you can check out their website to learn more about all of the different activities and events that are planned. So very exciting over at the museum. All right, Mark, we also wanted to let folks know about an upcoming fundraiser that is a very good cause called Boots versus Badges.
Yeah, this is a fundraiser that's put on by the Winnebago County Sheriff's Office and the Oshkosh Fire Department in as they call it, a hero basketball game. So a great cause and great people doing it. It's going to be at the Oshkosh Arena on March 2nd at 8:15 p.m. following the Wisconsin Herd game. The event raises money for the Oshkosh Dive Rescue Team as well as the Winnebago County Sheriff's Office Canine Unit. A ticket's required for entry into the game, but that ticket is also valid for the Herd game that night.
Right.
So come early because the Herd plays at 6 p.m. Followed by the Boots and Badges game at 8:15 p.m. So great family event and a great cause for both the Sheriff's Office and the Oshkosh Fire Department.
Right. And folks can also take advantage of catching the herd at the same night. All right, Mark, well, I think it's time to take a short break. And if you stay with us for some highlights, we'll have some highlights of the upcoming Oshkosh Common Council meeting agenda. We'll be right back. And welcome back to the City Manager's Report. I'm Andy Radig along with City Manager Mark Roloff. Let's turn our attention to the agenda items from the upcoming Tuesday, February 27th Oshkosh Common Council meeting. And Mark, it looks like we have a presentation toward the beginning of the meeting, and this is looking at some potential improvements to our roundabouts in this city, and we have a lot of roundabouts.
Yeah, we sure do, and there have been some very community-minded people that have offered to do some fundraising to spruce up the roundabouts. They're in some cases over 10 years old, and they're starting to show a little bit of age with overgrowth and things like that, and as well as the fact that the city maintains them, they are becoming sort of a maintenance concern. So the idea is to get some new plantings in there that are a little easier to maintain, plus a little more nice to view. So that perfect combination. Originally, the council had indicated some reluctance to support it until they knew there was some community fundraising, and so Amy Albright from the Convention and Visitors Bureau has been working closely with other friends in the community, with the Oshkosh Area Community Foundation and some other groups to do some fundraising, and they've been working very closely with Travis Dirks, our landscape operations manager, city forester with the city, and both Travis and Amy are going to be at the council meeting to talk about the plans that have been developed and the fundraising efforts to date, and then the council can decide if they're going to use some city funds to match that private fundraising effort. And those are always the things we're looking for, those combination efforts to do these types of things that are very much quality of life, but a lot of people care about them, and if they're willing to put up money, I think we're willing to listen to what some of these ideas are.
Sure. It's a great partnership.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
Yeah. All right, well then, digging a little bit deeper into the agenda, we have an item where council is asked to approve the purchase of some lighting poles and fixtures, and this is for some road reconstruction over at Cherry Street.
Yeah, in this case, this is just about the Cherry Street project, which is proposed for this year. It's going to be going from Irving up to New York Avenue, and as part of that project, we put in some new light poles and fixtures. So one of the things we do to keep the project moving along is we actually order these poles and fixtures for the contractor even before we've awarded the bid to the contractor, so that once they're selected through the bidding process, we have in the bid specifications that we'll provide the light poles. So those sometimes take quite a few months of lead time, and we don't want the contractor sitting there waiting for them because they've ordered them when they get the bid award. We order it before the bid award so that they are here in plenty of time for the contractor to be able to start installing them whenever the time is right for the contractor. So it's one of those coordinating things that we do. It also helps keep costs down because we order these in bulk for a whole project, and order them at the right time of year to get better prices as well. So a lot of good reasons to get it done, and it'll get the project done more efficiently as well.
And helps us avoid supply chain issues as well.
Yeah, supply chain is a huge part of that.
Okay. All right, then we have another approval of a demolition at 656 North Main Street, and this is a big project that is being undertaken there.
Yes, the city's redevelopment authority had solicited bids for properties that they own on North Main Street, which they purchased recently, as well as Jefferson Street. So between Jefferson and Main, you're going to see this development that's been approved by the council and awarded to sell this land to this developer for this purpose. But one of our responsibilities is to get the building knocked down before they take it over. So this is at 656 North Main, and this is what it's going to look like. There's going to be a combination of retail and residential. You'll see the little sign there, Child Development Center, with a little playground on the backside. The idea is to have a child care center embedded right into the building so that residents can do that. And the goal here is actually to have first and second shift childcare. So while some people may lament the fact, oh, this building's going down, this is what's going to replace it, add some great residential vibrancy to the downtown area. So I'm really excited about this and looking forward to this project proceeding.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on it too as it progresses. All right, then we have a few special events on the agenda, one of which is Oshkosh Bird Fest. And as we were taking a look at the Lakeshore Park new facility, it looks like they're scheduling Bird Fest over at that facility. Yeah,
the Autobon Society, after listening to us talk all these great things about the Four Seasons building, they said, well, maybe this would be a good place to hold our event, just in case. They do say rain or shine, but in case it's rain, they can take advantage of the shelter. But it's a great location where Lake Butamore and the Fox River come together anyway. So I think they feel that this can give the public a different view of birds in our community that both inhabit the lake as well as the river. And so 6 a.m. to noon, if you're a rise and shiner, you can do that on Saturday, May 4th. So we're happy to be plugging that event and look forward to it happening in the near future.
Okay, sounds exciting. All right, then we also have some pending ordinances, and it looks like we have actually a couple of items that are relating to, it looks like the parking fine rates and that sort of thing.
Yeah, and parking in the downtown area in general. So we haven't updated our parking fine schedule in a number of years. We took a look at it, and actually we think that some of our fine system might be so low that it actually encourages people to just break the law, because if they get a ticket, they're willing to pay that. We're trying to create a disincentive. We're actually much lower than a lot of peer communities, so getting it closer to that. And then also the BID, the Business Improvement District, and the Transportation Committee both looked at some of the parking spaces, and they made some suggestions that might make parking more effective in the downtown area and increasing the number of leased spaces. So we're looking at doing that. Council had asked us to take a look at those based on the recommendations, so we're bringing those forward.
Okay. All right. Then we also have an item that we've actually been talking about for a little while here, Mark. It's the item where we are looking to create a vehicle registration fee to eliminate certain special assessments in the city. And we've looked at this plan. There have been a lot of different ideas over the years. It's been a while that this has been discussed. And do you think that council feels that this plan is the best combination of things that they've looked at in the past?
Yeah, I think this is the appropriate combination based on council's review of this for over 10 years now. And regardless of the turnover we've had in council, there's pretty much been consensus that they've wanted to eliminate special assessments because the costs for special assessments have been rising along with the cost of street reconstruction. So, we've got some figures that show how much the cost has gone up from 2008, and it's more than doubled over a period of 15 years. And this is for an average residential street, and that doesn't even include the sidewalk costs. So we're trying to provide some relief, and so we have looked at so many different options, so many different mixes, and the combination approach that council chose was to do a combination of vehicle registration fee for about 42% of it and 58% of transfers from the other three utilities. One of the things we discovered through this process was that perhaps the utilities haven't been paying their full share of the road reconstruction because, as you can see from a lot of the videos, we do quite a bit of excavating for the roads, but honestly, you really, for the road itself with no utilities, you probably only need a couple feet of excavation. To do all the excavating we're doing is all about the utilities, so the utilities should be paying their fair share of it as well. And so the other reason we want the utilities to pay for it is because special assessments also get non-taxable property. And we have a lot of non-taxable property in the city of Oshkosh, and we want to make sure that the non-taxable property are also paying their fair share for these roads as well. So that takes care of, trying to take care of the non-taxable property. The vehicle registration fee is to recognize that roads benefit vehicles. I mean, that's the bottom line. And the vehicles, one of the challenges that I've always had with the vehicle registration fee is that vehicles over 8,000 pounds are exempt. And we can't change that. That's the way the state law is written. That's the only way we can do a vehicle registration fee. I would prefer it to be different, but I don't have the luxury of changing it. That's a legislative decision. And quite honestly, the state hasn't changed this law in over 50 years. So I'm not expecting them to change it just for little old Oshkosh. So the idea is that vehicles that impact the city will pay for it, but vehicles over 8,000 pounds don't pay. Vehicles that come to Oshkosh and aren't registered in the city of Oshkosh, they don't pay either. So in that regard, the vehicle registration fee is not the perfect single solution, but merging the vehicle registration fee, which is a little more heavy on residents and cars, and the utilities, which takes into consideration non-taxable property and other people who benefit from using utilities in Oshkosh because they go to a store that that pays utility fees. It's that combination. Could we have other combinations? Yes. Staff gave council in the last iteration. We've probably given them 40 to 50 different options over the years. The last time we gave them a series of options, it was 12 options. They actually chose a 13th option. So council really gave a lot of thought into what problems exist and what is the appropriate solution. So I salute the council, and a lot of councils before this one, they've been struggling with this issue for years.
Right.
And they're put in the position of making a policy decision that we as staff have to follow through on. And our job as staff is to give the council all of the information we can to help them make an informed decision. And I think we've done that, and I think the council is prepared, even though it's far from perfect, and there are legitimate pros and cons to every single solution that's been proposed. And there's pros and cons to this proposed solution, but we feel it's the best combination to address this issue that is hanging over the heads of our residents.
Right. And a couple quick facts. This new vehicle registration fee would take effect after July 1st, is my understanding. And it looks as though this plan would cover, as far as what special assessments this plan would cover, it would cover road and sidewalk reconstruction as well as sidewalk rehabilitation.
Right, it's about the reconstruction part of it. If it's a
Pavement.
brand new road from dirt, the developer or the people who are doing that, they have to pay for that. Brand new utilities being put into the ground for the first time, that has to be paid for by the people benefiting. Just like at one point somebody bought into our utilities, that's only fair. This is only for road reconstruction. So a lot of people said this is in reaction to some new utilities we put in. No, in fact, those people will not benefit from a change in policy here. This is about road reconstruction, about people who have already paid for the road once, and the council's looking at a way so they don't have to pay it again through some very high special assessments.
Okay, and this would take effect for all projects for 2024, beginning.
Yes, so projects in previous years won't benefit from this, and again, that's an imperfection with it, but that's something we got to do.
Okay. All right, well, moving along, we have one other item, a couple of items here that we wanted to talk about. We have a planned development overlay at 240 Algoma Boulevard, and this is the beach building, and I understood that the beach building was in a TIF district. Is that correct?
Yeah, the beach building is right next door to City Hall. It was an apartment complex and office site that was part of a tax increment district. That tax increment district will now go away because it's a pay-as-you-go, and you have to be paying property taxes. Our new next-door neighbor is planned to be the Christine Ann Center, and they plan to do some minor rehabilitation of the building, but they will be tax exempt, so that won't create a tax increment anymore. So that tax increment district is simply just going to wither away, and that's okay. But this will be a much needed addition for the Christine Ann Center, and it'll be a great addition in the downtown. Happy to have them as a new next door neighbor, and they provide great services that are much needed in our community, and so we're happy they'll be able to do that.
Okay, very good. Well, thank you for cramming all of this in. We had a lot of information today.
Happy to do it, Andy.
All right, and thank you for joining us today. We appreciate you tuning in. And again, that Oshkosh Common Council meeting that we've been talking about is at 6 p.m. this Tuesday, February 27th, at City Hall, which is at 215 Church Avenue. You can watch that live on GovTV, which is Spectrum Channel 10, UVerse Channel 99, and streaming on YouTube and OshkoshMedia.org. Or you can listen on the radio, Oshkosh FM 101.9, which is also online and on the TuneIn Radio app for phones and tablets. And remember, you can always stream using your favorite streaming device. Just look for the Oshkosh Media app. Join us again in 2 weeks for another City Managers Report.